why. Don't know why you feel the need to do that. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Actual Play Broadcast. Today with an episode of Eclipse Phase.
The phase is eclipsing.
It
is true.
eclipsing.
The phase is currently in Eclipse.
I didn't remember
Which means
that time last session. The phase
which means
eclipse.
I play Tomb Guard in attack mode.
Jesus Christ.
Last time we went through the combat rules and had little mock combats. And everyone was getting the down low on potentially joining Firewall and what all that would entail. A number of questions were asked and answers were given. Whether or not those answers were satisfactory is up in the air. But
Indeed.
with your new bodyguard, another week goes by, relatively uneventful. No one tries to shoot you in an alley. No one tries to track your whereabouts any more than they want to or can with easy access to the mesh and asking around. However, notable thing is that all of you have been seeing news articles floating around that recent quote-unquote fossils were found floating on a derelict ship in space. More information to come.
Damn. I wonder what they mean by
They're
fossil.
sending out they're sending out the paparazzi hunter killer drones.
Oh no.
Paparazzi.
And now we're demonetized.
Now we're not demonetized.
That wasn't even 10 seconds, bro.
It wasn't even 10 seconds. That was out of tune.
Yeah, exactly. It's bad enough they won't even try to claim it.
Yeah, the algorithm can't recognize that as
we're just
cruelty.
embarrassed.
They send a letter of, we're sorry.
Yeah. It's like, please don't do that again because of secondhand embarrassment, not because we want you to stop.
Now
He cease and desist says. He cease and desist
Thing is,
says.
we're not
Stop
really
it.
in session
Get
yet.
from him.
Just so that the listeners know at home. This week, Arnold's going to be a male.
Still big cat person, right?
Still big cat person. That's not going to change.
You've injected your
Bigger,
weekly
just in
dose
some different places.
of gender fluid.
Look, they have the option for switching back and forth. I figure why not fuck around with it.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's your body, bro.
Also vile. Ah, yes. Gender fluid.
Exactly. Yeah. I do feel like we should be at least a little bit concerned about increased media attention, though. I guess we'll have to see
Yeah.
how popular that gets. I mean, if we go viral, it's going to be awkward.
You're not at the point of getting F-Rep yet. F-Rep is actively like fame. If you all want to, start trying to cash in on that, you can. But
Moisturize me.
I understood that reference.
But you're not at the point where you're just gonna passively be getting it. Yeah, you are anomalies, but they don't know who you are yet. But people are aware that something interesting is happening out by the swarm, and that the swarm picked up some fossils, quote unquote.
Yeah. Can't believe we're the fossil generation now.
We're like way past that too, aren't we?
Spared no expense.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, like,
the concept of generations gets a little weird when you have effective immortality.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're still part of a generation. The generation's just old as fuck.
And the
But
infinite
also-
boomer.
I have to keep reminding myself that, like, all this shit has only been around for, like, 30 years. They can't have that many generations of, like, infinity life people.
well,
The
living in space is that new, but digital immortality is older.
it's only a little
Yeah,
bit.
but I thought that only, like, even started out, like, 20 or 30 years before the Earth was ruined.
It became widely used, like widely available.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
But cars were a luxury too. If
I'm
you,
glad we missed the time where it was only like rich, famous people or dictators who had access to it.
Yeah. But with that, all of you are going about your business. What is everyone's day-to-day looks like now that you're not running around trying to get caught up on everything? You're more or less caught up. There are some current, like, quote unquote current events that you'd want to keep track of, or you don't have a full grasp of everything that's going on because, it spans an entire solar system and then some.
Hmm.
Honestly, there's probably just a lot of reading that happens on Matt's side. There's so many new theories on biology and life and ecological understanding and shit that I imagine he probably could fill the rest of his, well, I guess not the rest of his life, the whole immortality thing, a good chunk.
There's a number of topics of biology and how biology, quote unquote, actually works.
Hmm.
And you've mostly caught yourself up on that. That's not difficult. You've confirmed and denied several things and how certain systems function. These systems are not disputed by crazy people.
Oh yeah. I mean to say, there's going to be a lot of like he's gotten the general gist, but like getting the more specifics on the principles behind stuff. The boring, we're definitely not going to try to pretend that we're hard sci-fiing this, but like the actual tech behind it and whatnot.
The scientific sector that exploded actually has been the ecological one.
Yeah.
The biology one, there's always that new stuff. There's better understanding, and a lot of it is like implementation with nanites, or how to modify, how to genetically engineer, how to modify how how your DNA replicates.
Hmm.
That's all like baffling to a degree until you sit down and understand the fundamentals behind it, which you spent the better part of a month getting caught up fundamentally.
Yeah.
But the one that everyone's, trying to figure out how to make more effective, trying to understand better how to recuperate an environment, how to recuperate an ecosystem, how to start up an ecosystem. A lot of that is currently what the ecological sector is focused on. Due to you have a number of ecologists that are part of the reclaim it movement to try to reclaim Earth and rehabilitate it. Other ones care more about terraforming.
Makes sense.
Because Mars has an amount of breathable atmosphere, not a ton. The planet Titan has gotten is very well. I'm not gonna say very breathable. It's not Earth level breathable, but it's like equivalent to being like if you've ever gone mountain climbing, the air is thinner. That's
Breathe
all
very
of Titan at
slowly.
this point. Yeah.
I wonder if the name of Titan got awkward after the whole incident.
Well, they're called the Titanian Commonwealth, I believe. I might have that in the wrong order. Either way, the the Commonwealth. So there's not really people can get around it. It's a
Yeah,
little
just saying the
like
Commonwealth.
yeah. One of the ways to that one of the ways to get around in the system is usually to ship yourself off to Titan, because Titan is very. I'm gonna say a trigger word for one of the people in this chat. Anarcho-capitalist.
Huh.
So
What do you mean? What do you mean? One of the people in this chat?
Yeah. I'm just here.
Look, it's fun in fiction. That is all I'll say.
I just remember very lengthy discussions when I was first showing off the game, and he's just like, "What is with these people again?" Either way, but you're all free to run around and do what you'd like. So, Matt, reading up, trying to get better grasp of the scientific situation. What is Morgan doing?
So something I thought about was so normally the amount of money that we have now would be enough that I could just live on it for the rest of my life and not worry about it.
Correct.
But the rest of my life is of indefinite length, so I should probably look into how to grow that money in some way if I want to maintain it. I just don't know exactly how that works now, if at all.
Well, so it's hard for you to get information on that because you are on an anarchist scum swarm that trades primarily in reputation.
Yeah. I assume with mesh access, though, like, I mean, people do it elsewhere. Then again, I guess I could just live here forever and just build ref. That's probably easier.
Could do that. However, they are limited by the amount of resources they have access to. Do you have any, what knowledge skills do you have?
Let us see. Pretty much nothing. Actually, nothing really super related. Computer science, network engineering, social engineering, cryptography, and security ops.
You can always social engineering and I don't know, pyramid scheme it beer.
That's true. I could start a cult. You'll make money that way.
Could start a cult. That is technically an option.
Not a good one though. So yeah. I don't
Is
know
this
if
cult?
But no. I don't know if there's anything like. I mean, I don't know if there's anything with a good enough, like a savings account with a good enough interest rate I could put it in that I could live off of interest, because then that would be indefinite.
Theoretically, you could still do that.
Yeah, if the interest is large enough, but I mean, if with an amount this large, it might be.
Yeah. Like, you could do that, but at that point, like money won't effectively be an issue for you.
Yeah.
If you're smart with it and not, buying entire fleets of ships.
Yeah.
You could start your own business easily with that amount of money. You could go live in the belt, in the asteroid belt. Get yourself a asteroid and core it out. Just live on there.
Be an asteroid hermit forever.
The only thing you'd have to ever worry about is if something ran into it or knocked it off course.
Yeah, it's not as likely as you'd think.
That's what a lot of people believe.
That's true. I guess. I mean, if you're flying a lot, I mean, the chance of it happening get higher.
So,
I guess it isn't a super immediate concern, but it is something that's been on my mind that I don't want to just forget
yeah.
to do. I mean, I guess if I do join Firewall, is that a paying position?
Kinda. They will comp you,
Oh, okay.
but it's not always in, raw cash. Sometimes it's with rep, sometimes it's with assets, sometimes with its access.
Yeah, but if it's something I can get by on, then I'm not spending money or a rep that I already had, so it still works. All right, I'll keep thinking about that then. And just doing research into what I can do. I've never been like a finance person, so.
Yeah, and you have people on the ship that are anti-finance.
Yeah.
They do talk a lot about how corporations fuck people over. But a lot of it, you have a good enough understanding to believe that it's either hyperbole or people that were directly screwed over.
Yeah. And like, I don't want to do that, obviously. Unfortunately, there is the paradox that generally people who get really rich and powerful get there by at the expense of other people. And I would like to maintain the wealth that I have fallen into without fucking over others. I've kind of skipped the steps, so to speak. Gotten lucky, but how do I it is a valuable resource that I don't want to just throw away over time if I can help it.
You could. What kind of rep do you have?
Let's see. I have. Let's see. I have R rep 60 and A rep 40. Is that pronounced at rep or is it A rep? The autonomous one.
It is at rep.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Yeah, it's saying.
at rep 40. What was the other one? I'm sorry.
R rep 60. I would like to get firewall rep, but I wasn't able to start with that, so I don't have it.
I mean, you could try to call in a moderate favor with research to get someone who's just like, I want to understand current economics.
Yeah.
So the way that would work is you would roll and try to get your reputation or lower.
Okay.
And then depending on how the result shakes out, that rep will either just be frozen temporarily because you can only call in so many favors at a time.
Yeah.
Or you may lose points of reputation.
Well, let's see how it goes. And hope that I don't get just destroyed by my bad luck flaw. Okay, we're good. 56 out of 60.
Okay. So you're able to reach out, and the researchers, try to sit there and understand the science behind it. And a lot of what corporations do at the moment is very manipulate the entirety of supply and demand.
Yeah, like they just control that entire
They control that entire circle. where
Yeah.
even the consumers to a degree don't have control over demand, because a number of those consumers are also being paid by those corporations and work for those corporations. So if
Yeah.
the corporation's like, we want to sell boots, we're going to make sure that everyone wears their shoes down more, everyone has to do a certain amount of steps, everyone has to be in this shitty fucking terrain, or have to work in these areas that are gonna fuck your boots up.
Yeah.
It's that kind of shit. They manipulate both ends. And it's just like, well, we don't want to push that now, so let's kind of reduce our supply on that. That way they can still maintain profit. So
Yeah.
stepping into that field is not clean. There
Yeah.
are corporations that, do care, that are aligned with interests of the people. They don't particularly perform well, but no one is going to say no to a benefactor and an investor, because more capital means more business.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's going to be a different situation entirely to find out who you want to fund and how much you want to give them, any risk rewards.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to like essentially gamble with it, because that's pretty much what investing is. I mean, I guess it can be a lot more, sure, but it's still.
I mean, if you could buy a share, not a high end share, mind you. You're rich, but you're not corporate CEO rich.
Yeah, that's a whole different category.
Yeah. So you could buy up shares of corporations. You're more or less guaranteed to make dividends off that.
That's true. It's not like, I mean, they kind of own parts of the solar system. It's not like they're going to not do well financially.
Yeah.
Uh,
Unless a
uh,
corporate war were to suddenly break out and that corporation suddenly just disappear from existence, but that's never
yeah.
happened.
No, I'm sure it's impossible. All right. I won't take any immediate action on that, but I'll keep that
Yeah.
simmering on the back burner of my mind.
All right, Arnold. What does Arnold do in his spare time that he doesn't have to study?
Probably just going out, doing a little bit of more training, still getting used to his body.
Are
And
you
exercise.
so what kind of training are you doing? Are you trying to get better at free fall, free running? Are you trying to get better at shooting, melee? What
Yes.
are you trying to improve?
Yes.
What are you focusing on this week?
This week, probably a little bit more. Kind of comfortable with free falling. That's perfectly fine. Probably a little bit more on the hand to hand this week. Hand to hand, a little bit of working with the melee weapons too.
Okay.
PQB stuff.
So give me a melee roll.
Melee. Ooh.
As the shooting range also has its own fair share of dummies that you can sit there, basic animatronics that can, try to block or try to strike you.
There. Nice.
Not
That's a
bad. You're able
26.
to go ahead.
That's a 26. That is under my 40.
So what melee weapon are you practicing with?
I don't know what I feel like working with today. I am probably working with. Did I give myself claws? Please tell me I gave myself claws.
I feel like you did.
I feel like I did. Well, yes, no, I'm sitting there. I'm sitting there fighting with my claws.
Okay. So you're sitting there going at it. hitting a dummy with claws doesn't feel great. You think to yourself, probably shouldn't come at a synth with this, as a synthetic morph would probably not feel good, but if you need to, you could.
Mm-hmm.
While you're while you're practicing, wrong P word. Tabitha is watching you. Your I almost said state issued bodyguard, but your anarchist issued bodyguard is making sure that no one's keeping an eye on you, no one's monitoring you. You're being monitored by her.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just like, so are you ex-military?
Pausing in between a strike. No, just used to work in security.
What kind of security jobs you do?
Most of the time I was unarmed. A few times I actually did bouncing at nightclubs and other venues. A few times I took on a contract here and there for being someone's personal guard and chauffeur.
So you were always gray. You never crossed the line.
Not officially, no.
I mean, back in your day, how many people officially broke the law?
I wasn't part of a PMC, that's for sure.
Well, there's less issue with that nowadays.
Yeah. Definitely true. Especially when you got plenty of bodies to leave just everywhere.
So, like, I know that everyone in your group has like their own ideas of what they want to be doing. What's your plan? Are you trying to get connected to people? You got family?
I don't know if I still have any family left around. Could always do that.
You ever have
Not,
kids?
nah. Didn't do that before I got frozen into a popsicle.
Any nieces or nephews?
Might have had a couple. Don't know about whether or not my brother would have gotten any or had any by the time while I was frozen away.
That makes it messy.
Yeah. Sister had a kid, but wasn't really on good speaking terms at that time when I went into the ice machine.
So you got no connections, no real connections that you know of.
Mm-hmm.
You have all this money. What are you gonna do with it? Want to buy a boat?
That was a possibility. Wouldn't mind exploring a bit of the world, or I guess not world. Like
Eh,
stars, I guess is the way to put it now these days.
yeah. But I mean, there are people who you could pay people to do things for you. You could invest in independent business owners,
Mm-hmm.
ones that, work outside of corporate interests.
Kind of independent is what you're saying.
Kinda, yeah. Maybe people that rub corporations the wrong way and, will sometimes get chased around or shot at, and like to hide out in a scum swarm where their business is legitimate.
Something something triad, something something cartel, something something organized crime.
I'm not saying that precisely, but I mean, if
Something
you're
something.
interested, we did suddenly lose a lot of money.
I'm kind of curious about that. What makes you think it was us?
Uh, because we can track the bank accounts that it came out of.
Are you telling me that the science fair project that I got frozen for was somehow connected to Old World Triad?
No, it was just an account that they had access to that, they'd sit there and launder money through. And then it suddenly drained.
Oh, that's entertaining. And it makes it a little bit interesting the fact that now there's technically something legitimate that's tying in that money.
Yeah. Well, Zhou Zhang thought very differently of it being funny. Quite the opposite.
Well, when it's dealing with your business, yeah, it is definitely different. But funny on my end.
Well, she's still a little sore about it, but, make a donation to an independent business opportunity would go a long way to mending that fence. Maybe hire some work.
Hire some of her people, or do some work for her.
I mean, I think she'd appreciate the credits more.
Okay.
But, if you have something that you want to know more about that isn't exactly legal or that you can't really do here on the swarm, say you're really upset at, a former business partner and you think that oh, right, you're frozen. Oh, God, it's hard. Do you have anyone left to hate? Like, it's hard to tempt people with assassination when all their enemies died
Could
before
be
they
dead.
were. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. I mean, I hate everyone equally, as much as I also like people equally.
I'm just saying, if you want to hit on someone, you could probably get that done. I don't know who you'd want to order a hit on. It was
I
not.
haven't found anyone, that's for sure.
But no, just if you want to get involved in the scene that you always skirted the line of, if you want to come on over to the other side, well, you have an easy way in.
Okay. So long as someone doesn't do weird mind stuff to me.
Who would do that?
That's a valid question.
Who would do that? I need to find them still.
Hmm.
To be fair, you have no idea. That was just
No,
yeah.
That is a completely, I understand as an out of character thing, but as
Okay.
Arnold understands in person, he's just like, as long as someone does weird mind stuff, he at least knows from his perspective, the internet is in my head. Therefore, someone can mess with my mind.
I don't want to be brain fuckled.
I can tickle your brain.
In the wrong way.
But that's your week. Encapsulates your week. Just one of the days Tabitha strikes up a conversation about organized crime.
He's not
Like
denying
you
it,
did.
but he's got a slight smile as he's At least from her perspective, probably contemplating it.
But that takes us down the line to Mako.
Yes.
Not the shark yet.
Yeah, well, you asked what she decides to follow on the news or whatever. Well, she probably is going to follow the news reporting about the popsicles that people found. Because it's relevant to know if they're going to get space paparazzi after them. Other than that, she is actually a little like, what do I do now? And trying to basically just read up about how the different societies work here now.
Okay. Do you want to those different societies? It's a lot. I can't encapsulating an entire society in a single conversation is silly.
She is going to do that, but we don't need to go through everything of that in game.
No. So it's what I'm saying is I want you to do a research roll, but I want you to tell me what specifically about, like, you're comparing and contrasting societies. What specific segment of a society? Economics, politics.
She is basically trying to get a general gist from her own perspective about what their deals are and what she will need to navigate in this new future. Because things are very different than living in a world with nations. Now everyone is in space and weird.
Yeah, so where does everyone stand on, like, rights and things, I imagine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where do we need to not go to?
Yeah. Make me a research roll.
All right. Well, let's see. Where's the dice spot?
Up top.
Up top.
Don't believe me? Just watch.
Hey.
21 under. I have 40 in research, so.
Okay.
I rolled 21.
So, like, human rights wise, well, transhuman rights at this point, everyone for the most part is, like, perfectly fine with, I don't want to, with, trans identity. Your gender is not your sex. You're allowed to love who you love. All of that is ancient at this point. In their eyes, the fact that those were ever up for debate is silly. The main stress points for a number of factions are how it views rights with non-transhumans, specifically AGI, uplifts, and anyone else that doesn't, fit in your nice little box of transhumans. To a degree, this includes individuals that are synthetics. Anyone who chooses to be or has to be in a fully synthetic body. Because most of the time, these individuals can do much more dangerous jobs, and also don't require that much upkeep. Like, you don't need to feed them. You don't need to make sure that they're drinking water. They're completely mechanical. You don't really have to worry about, them getting a disease. They are typically in larger aerostats treated as second-class citizens. Because of that. Now, mind you, there's a lot of advantages to not having to worry about having to breathe, worrying about having to eat, worrying about having to actually sleep. Those are all things that you don't have to worry about as a synthetic morph. However, there's no you don't have increased compensation for taking these these more dangerous jobs, even at the potential loss of your morph. And, it's like, oh, well, they don't need air, so we're not going to, or they don't need to sleep, so we don't need to worry about having them have any homes. So we're just going to give them a closet that they can sit there and, store themselves in whenever they just want to be offline. But as there are a number of, you can still simulate taste, you can still simulate touch with all of these sensors and everything, but it feels uncomfortable to a degree to just take those away and say, well, you don't need them, or you don't have to worry about them, so you're not going to have them at all.
Indeed.
So, for some places, especially Venus, this is a big pain point. Venus and the moon, or Luna, as it's referred to it now. Uplifts aren't really considered people, and are typically considered property to a corporation, because in order to be uplifted, a corporation usually has to be the one to uplift you and make you fully sapient. So they do it not usually out of a kindness, but to try to get something. Either they'll uplift you, and in that time, not actually program you, but train you to be either a social creature for a TV show, or to be a individual that is just, a personality, not really immediately useful, a gear monkey, or usually octopus, because you don't have to worry about, having your bones crushed by being in tight spaces. The Neo-Neanderthal uplifts were just a way to just like, hey, look what we did. Neanderthals are real. We were able to sit there and bring them back from extinction. And a number of them were uplifted, and, they do that whenever they want a little extra publicity. They don't serve any specific function. They were just, look, we did a thing. And then AGI, you take out the G, you find out why people don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
As they are general intelligences, yes, they are, sapient, they have their own personalities, but a lot of places just don't fuck with them because, well...
There's a little shared trauma everyone has.
There's a lot of shared trauma. There's a lot of that. A lot of rules and regulations you see about AGI are purely reactionary. There are some aerostats that in your research are, hey, if you're an AGI and you visit the station, we're air gapping you. You will not have access to the mesh. And so you ask, well, then why would they go there? And that's the point. They have no reason to. They don't want them there.
Get out of here. Well,
You also see things on ex-humans. They call themselves like the next step in transhumanity. We need to leave it all behind. You're familiar with Gene Stealer cult, right?
yeah.
Yeah, think of that, except usually they like more mechanical bits.
Oh,
They crave the strength and certainty of steel.
Indeed. And as many arms as possible to wield that steel.
They have
Well.
arms? What the fuck?
Holy shit.
Some of them don't.
Call it a mechatonkeries.
Some ex-humans get a little weird with it. But oh, look, Mom, all legs. And 2 shoulder-mounted missile pods.
I mean, you have to have the base.
Look at what I can do, he says, and breaks down into a nanoswarm.
Yeah.
That is another thing that people talk about often, and usually it's like, hey, no nano anything, because that was a tool used by the Titans. But there's only so much they can do to really enforce that. And it's, it's not a person's rights. It's, hey, it's like saying, hey, you're not allowed to have a gun at a festival.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like, could you just not?
It's in bad taste.
But that's mostly what you see when looking at, the rights and everything. If you want a bigger breakdown of who supports what, how do they support it, please read through the book.
Yes.
Talked about what Matt was doing. What's Osborne doing?
So, for clarification, we're on week 7.
Yes, week 7.
Okay, cool. So I've already spent my rest points. I don't entirely recall what I spent them on. So that was going to be my crutch for determining what I've been up to. So I'm going to say I was spending some time tracking, the news in regards to the fallout of me calling out the sus nature of the Olympian situation.
Okay. So you've already been to those forums. So if you want to look at those forums, you're able to without a problem. Just go to your history and see what people are chatting about. If you want other resources, I would ask for a research roll.
Sure. Research. Oh, feck. All right, well, I'll try.
Unless you think you have another skill that would, supplement.
I mean, I don't think I do. I think that just is the one that makes the most sense.
What knowledge skills do you have?
Meteorology, zoology, security ops, military ops, and writing.
I would actually accept either sec ops or military ops.
Oh, how will do security ops then?
Because the primary job that Olympians like to fulfill is security.
Okay, well, I passed.
Okay.
12 out of 75.
So, we'll start with what you already had access to, which is those forums. Looking through the forums, you go through and start reading. People aren't talking about it as much, but there are pinned conversations on those boards that involve like pinned threads of those conversations asking, hey, what the fuck? That looked fishy. And you see what you would recognize from your time is a lot of dog whistling.
Interesting.
There are people that are trying to sit there and either move the goalposts, change what happened, like change what the rules were, people that are calling attention to other issues within the communities, people trying to stir up personal drama. You see someone's being called out like as a cuck and like provides video evidence, which is weird.
Mm, mm, mm. What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure, bud.
Source my I think it literally says source my apartment.
Ha!
So
Damn, bro.
yeah. People are it's a form.
Mhm.
It's not it's not exactly what you're wanting from reputable information, but you see that the pot is still being stirred and people are actively working to try to stop it.
Yeah.
Whether or not those are admins of the forum just to get everything back on track, or the Olympians themselves, you don't know. What you do know with your 12, though, is you go and you know of a few sites where you could, offer your services for security work. There are a lot of postings.
Makes sense.
There is it looks like the demand for security work is maybe a little higher, but the supply of people offering work security wise has dipped dramatically. You know that Olympians' primary business is security.
Yeah.
So it looks like all the Olympians either disappeared or accepted the call home.
Yeah. Which isn't particularly new information. Interesting. But still mostly just people yapping online and not necessarily anything overt in the political sphere.
Politically, they've been silent, which isn't super unusual for Olympians, but
Fair.
they just had a major shakeup in leadership and no one's talking about it. It's radio silence from them. Other than
Gotcha.
like consistent calls to Olympians come home.
Makes sense, I suppose.
You'd actually think that there'd be a little bit more. They just had someone that, different polity than the previous figurehead. They called people home and then nothing. The most news you see about it is the fact that you see a number of transports going back to Olympus.
I see. Well, guess I'll keep a tab on that, I suppose. Otherwise, just gonna kind of keep brushed up. Maybe go work on my unarmed a bit, or my melee.
Okay.
Since I think, yeah, they're the same thing now in this system.
Yeah.
So yeah, just gonna, because I think that's actually what I improved was my melee. So I'll go work on that.
So that's your guys' week. As time goes on throughout the week, it all kind of blends together. And you hear a number of people talking about that it's almost time. I need to make my preparations. I gotta get ready. Hey, do you have any spare credits? You don't hear people talk about credits often on the ship. So everyone gets this piece of information.
Okay.
Who's asking?
There's just a general buzz around the ship of people asking. So it's like, hey, you got any spare credits? I'll trade you some rep for credits, things like that. The people are suddenly asking for credits more than they usually do. Not everybody, but you hear people talking about credits more than zero. Which, since your month and a half on this boat has not been conversations folks have had.
Right after the fossils discussion too.
Well, they're not asking you specifically. You hear people talking.
No, but not everybody knows that we're the fossils. So my thought is that people are trying to suss out who might be the old timers.
I wonder if we're going into territory of another faction who does use credits to trade or something.
Could also be that people are tied up in with the gang, and the gang is squeezing for money.
It's almost like they suddenly ran out or something.
Something. They darn triad.
Something, Mr. Kneecap meet Mr. Bat. Where's my money, Lebowski?
You know what? I want to make that reference and see if anyone actually gets that. I'm gonna do that.
Good luck.
It's a little bit dated.
I would like a perceive check from everyone.
Oh no. We
Time
have to
to
roll
see through the future.
perceive.
You do. Don't worry, it's based off your intuition.
Slipping.
Ew. It's based off my intuition.
One day I'll give you a roll that's based off your cog.
One day.
Today's not that day.
You know, if you want to give me my fucking expert training roll one day, I would really appreciate it.
Nice.
One day.
I am 8
No, I
away.
failed.
I am
And with
solid.
that, I believe it is it's 2 degrees of failure, if I recall, because it's over 33.
I'm
That's
actually AFK, but I will roll and see if it's low enough that I can just assume.
Okay.
For your GM information, it is 63 over 40.
Yep.
So.
Okay. I know a 6 succeeds.
Ollie, what were you saying?
I am 8 away from my max, or from my skill, so that's a really good roll.
Okay.
21 over 60.
All right. I think that means that need Mako to roll this. Ooh.
Oh, I failed.
I'd like to flex it. Would fluxing actually help you in switching it from 84 to 48?
Nah, we're not gonna do that.
Okay. So all of you are going about your business. A number of you, specifically not Mako and Matt, get the distinct impression that you're being watched.
Mako is
And
too
whenever you
busy.
turn around to see who's looking at you, there's no one there.
Hmm. I would like to try Ego Sense when I return to my computer.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll do the little ego sensey. Oh,
Okay.
sense the ego. It's boy, infection modifier 2. That goes up.
That number does go up.
Number go up. And I roll psi. What's my psi? I have good number for psi. 65. Okay. 31.
All right. So let
I
me
do
ask you this before we move forward.
Yeah.
Your infection rating went up. Do you?
Yeah, I have to. Yeah. Where are we at physically in the world doing this?
So all of you are just walking about, maybe getting lunch or dinner, whatever you want to call it, and all of you just this like spine tingle, spidey sense. Turn around, nothing. So you're all making your way either to or from the mess.
Okay. You know what? I'll risk it for the biscuit. I have to roll and fail the infection rating roll, right? Because it's a D100, and
Yep.
if I get above it, I'm fine. I want to believe. Oh, I'm super fine. Super fine. 96 over 36.
That
Super fine.
that pot will boil over one of these days.
We have to roll that regardless with every cast, right? Like that's basically the resource.
Yep.
Okay, I will also do that.
What's your infection rating at now?
You can flex
plus
to
two.
ignore the roll if you want beforehand.
I can't. Oh, and like you mean spend a flex?
Yeah, you can spend a
you
flex to
well,
bypass it.
That's fine. It's plus 2 for Ego Sense, right? Since you just had that open. I still
Yes.
I need to like make a different sheet that actually has space for all this stuff. Okay, maybe that ice spot is going. I don't know.
It's trying.
It said it's typing.
It's doing its best.
Yeah.
Just try
It looked like it failed.
But I best its guess wasn't words.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay.
Oh no.
Wait, if it critically fails, is that better for me? What actually
No.
happens?
Actually, what it critically failed. Right. It critically failed. 1 second.
me.
That does affect things.
Yeah.
That might actually.
Funny enough,
wait,
like
what?
my the symptom of my infection is actually very appropriate right now, and it's just not happening. I am very calm and collected.
But both of you, while I look into that, both of you succeeded. So you're able to see a number of egos moving around you, but you see 2 specifically that have started moving perpendicular to the hallway that you guys were just walking out of. And Tabitha's with all of you.
If Osborne and Tabitha look about that and then kind of pointedly in that direction.
Yeah, we're being followed.
Again.
Looks like it.
Do people get followed a lot in this time period? Like, is that just us?
Not anyone that is safe, but looking to fix that. And she pulls out 2 pistols. Time to do my job, earn my check, or rep.
Same thing.
Damn, do people still use checks?
No, but the
Turn of phrase.
The turn of phrase never left. It's weird. Most folks don't use paper anymore. Either way, I'll be right back.
All right. Good luck. I would like to know who they are, though.
I'm gonna go with Tabitha for shits and giggles.
Yeah, I'm not planning to let someone else just handle this.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, if others are going, I'll move at least to the corner so I can see around into the hallway. I am not a combat expert, though.
Did you?
Half the party just kind of like dip.
Are we in trouble again?
We just talked about that out loud, though. Like
Yeah.
we're being followed again.
She was a little bit in her own space, own world, reading about something. That's why she didn't notice. It's like, huh?
Oh, followed again. No big deal.
God damn it.
And then Syndra.
Yes.
When an infection test critically fails, if you roll a critical failure, the exovirus temporarily loses its grip on you. You're immune to influence effects until your next recharge. So your next long rest.
Nice.
Oh, okay. So like the effects of it. Do I just not even have to roll the infection rating, or does it just not matter if it passes a roll until my next recharge?
It does not matter.
Oh, cool.
So you can still build that up.
Yeah.
So.
But
the infection rating will go up, but it won't. Right? Yeah, it won't. It won't impact you.
Cool.
All right. So you all go running after. Well, before I say you all, who all follows?
Me.
Arnold and Osborne.
I'll go, except like I said, enough to get to the corner and observe and reach with psi powers, but not getting up close since it's not my specialty.
Yeah, Marco is going, seeing that everyone is basically going, it's like, oh, god damn it. It's going to follow
I ain't being alone.
Yeah. It might actually be safer to go do this.
So who all draws a weapon is my question.
Not yet.
Yeah, Arnold's not gonna visibly have a weapon.
All right, so Tabitha will lead.
Of course, you want to look at his hands.
Yeah. Tabitha will lead from the front and go running down the hall, and she turns. It's like I don't think the mic can pick up a whistle, but she whistles at them. And what do you think you're doing? Nothing. Doing a lot of staring for someone that's not doing anything. Want to keep your eyes in your head? Or your stack? Listen, we don't want any trouble. We don't want to start anything. Then why are you dogging these people? Why do you care? You hear another voice. It's my business to care. Now, if we have a problem, then, as she says that, a burst of gunfire
Can I get eye contact on one of the guys?
Yes, you can. So you see two individuals. You see one individual in what you know to be a bouncer morph. It is a Mars morph. And then another individual that is in some sort of weird multi-armed biomorph as well. You don't recognize it immediately.
Yeah, nah, fuck that. They got weird shit going down. Target identified. I'm gonna take 6 infection and Basilisk stare them.
Damn, that gets 6.
Yeah.
It's Basilisk stare is brutal.
It is really good, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
How
far away are they? I forgot to ask for the ego sense.
Oh, after you're around the corner, they're
like sub 10.
Not sub
Meters.
10. They're sub
Okay.
20, 15, roughly 15 meters.
Okay, they're over 10. That's okay. So 15. That's over 10. Okay. So that's oof. It makes it a little bit harder, but okay. I want to leave. Oh, I don't think that over 10 it's minus 10 for every 2 meters. So it's 15. Yeah, no. That actually fucking fails. That sucks.
Would you like
it
a
is-
flex?
You could flip it.
That's true. That's very true. I'm gonna flip it.
Okay. They don't
Yeah.
have a form mode. They're
I
not
want that to
psionics,
succeed.
so they don't get to really defend.
Yeah, get fucked.
But
So-
guess what gets to happen?
I'm gonna roll my infection rating. Yeah, I'm gonna hope.
Yeah.
Roll high this time, please. Still good. 68 over 42.
That's not too bad. That's not too bad.
The monster continues to boil.
The monster does
Yeah.
continue to boil. Oh, that's terrible. That probably smells awful.
Like the energy drink boiling.
Yeah,
I've heard of people
boiling
making,
of-
like
Oh,
play with it before.
That
First-
probably smells like a whole lot like medicine just being heated up.
Throw some spaghetti in there.
No.
What the? Oh, the battery acid spaghetti thing.
that's gamer gruel.
God.
Monster spaghetti.
Oh,
Oh,
I will
God,
similarly have an action as well.
Okay, what's your
Well.
action?
A psychic stab on because they're firing weapons, right? Like it's go time.
Yeah, they're the one of them pulls out of submachine gun. Arnold will be able to
Okay,
go
yeah.
here in just a second. They're doing things at a
Okay.
mental speed.
No, I kind of
Yeah.
figured as much, and that's why I was kind of like, let's
Yeah.
see how much they're still standing by the time Arnold even gets a chance to do something.
Yeah, because
Ruh-roh,
it's not a
Raggy.
it's not a matter of like spell casting where it's you have to wave your fingers in the air and say an incantation. It's just like you gotta think hard enough. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, did a big thunk. Who called out the SMG? Was it the one already Basilisk stared, or the other one?
So, which one did you basilisk stare?
The multi-armed freak, the freaky alien genotype.
Okay, the
Wow.
Jesus.
You say that until your substrain takes a hold of your brain.
Yeah, no shit.
I
Maybe
was
you'll feel
watching
differently.
somebody react to Dragon Ball Abridged, so that's fresh in my mind.
Oh boy.
Did they get it? Is my question.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So the one that pulled out the SMG was the multi-armed freak. They seemed
Okay, so they're already
pretty ready for go time.
yeah. So they're already CC'd by Basilisk stare, right? That makes
Yep.
them like stare at you and not do anything.
Yep, both targets
Yeah.
are immobilized. They have to stare at each other.
So I will psychically stab the other one. Unless this doesn't interrupt Basilisk stare, which would be pretty fucked.
Doesn't is the thing.
Oh my god.
Multiple psionics on a team is a recipe for character disaster. And the potential for all members blacking out and then waking up with something done is hilarious.
Wait. Or are you talking about like multiple people taking like the infection effects, or
Well, multiple people running into hitting 6 on their infection. If like the
Oh,
infection goes off, if the entire group does that, I have given a blackout period that I get to use against the players.
oh jeez. Yeah, well, I think we're kind of doing this at the same moment anyway. I'm going to hit the same one with Psychic Stab.
Yep.
Since that's the one pulling a gun out. So this is Infection Mod 6. So I will ascend to 36. Let's roll my side. Oh damn. 2 out of 80. No superior successes, unfortunately, but let's see, 2d10 damage reduced by mental armor.
Well. Ooh, ow.
Mhm.
Fuck.
Right in the brain or
Yeah,
the nervous
well-
system, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Well, both,
S-
according to
so-
the description.
yeah. What all of you see is as you turn this corner, you see the same sight. Two people, one in a bouncer morph, one guy that has 4 arms. He pulls out a submachine gun, and then he freezes, and his like eyes and nose start to bleed,
Oh.
and he's locked.
That's fucking terrifying. Oh, I need to roll the infection.
Yeah. Roll the infection is not going to do much, but it could, potentially. It's a good thing that you're
Could increase it.
unaffected by influences.
Yeah. All right, because the increase already happened, so I don't really have to roll.
Yeah. Arnold, you also were prepared to gun a bitch down.
Yeah, I'm gonna be funny. The jumper's still standing, right?
Yeah, the bouncer is still. They're both still standing. One of them is just locked and bleeding from the face.
I'm going to sit here and just be like, I don't know what's going on, but he looks like he's okay. He's stuck doing something. Something's happening to his head. Someone hacked him, as far as Arnold's concerned. I'm a charge and pounce on the jumper.
Okay. So that's 15 meters.
Oh, that's well within my full range.
Okay.
So I am going to. I take a -10 to this according to the thing, but it is a melee roll. I am going to. What's that? What's melee tied to?
Should be tied to Psalm.
Okay, I will spend one of my 2 vigor points to flip it.
Okay. They are going to attempt to fray.
That I am also in a superior success because that is 6 within my modified. Whatever. The
Yeah.
modified would be 39 over 45.
Yeah, no, you're good because you're over that 30 threshold. They're going to attempt to dodge, so they need to beat your 39.
Fair.
Oh, and they don't. They distinctly do not. With an 84, no. All right, so yeah, you pounce them.
I guess the question is, do I do any extra damage for using claws?
Well, Claw should have a damage profile.
Yeah, I just see 2d6, but I also wasn't seeing if there was anything special for my stats, so this looks like it's just 2d6 then.
Yeah, it's just 2d6.
Cool. And I will sit there and pounce on this man and rip into him for about 9 points.
You fuck them up good. They're not happy about it. Tabitha, for her part, after having a gun drawn on her, not happy, is just gonna try to put both rounds into the four-armed man. And she will. He is immobilized, so he doesn't get to try to dodge. Well, technically speaking, I had to roll one more time for the other handgun. Yeah, she's fine.
Oh, nice.
So that is probably not going to live. It's probably going to kill him. Why are you like this game? Firearms. There we go. She has 2 heavy pistols, so 40-10 plus 4. Yeah, he's done.
Oh,
He's
I was
not
supposed
dead.
to I was supposed to add an extra D6 for charging.
Oh, okay. Feel free to add that.
Okay, so the 12 total damage to the thumper,
Okay.
the bouncer.
Uh,
whatever he is.
He actually needs to make a psalm test. They both do. We'll do 4 on man first. He fails. He's unconscious.
Ooh.
The one that you pounced fails. He's unconscious. All right. That was quick. So you all turn the corner. You see these two fucking people. One of them pulls out a submachine gun. They freeze, lock up, and start bleeding from the face before taking 2 to the chest and falling over. Meanwhile, Arnold, before those shots went off, darted up to the other one, pushed them to the ground, and just tore in with claws, and blood flew everywhere. Before they just, they scream and then they stop. Still breathing, not super great, not breathing well, but, both are still breathing. Tabitha will put her guns away.
I give a
Ah.
little thumbs up to the others. Good job, guys.
Yeah. Tabitha, do you recognize either of these two?
I do not. I'm hoping Sarah does. I'm sending her a message now.
Perfect.
I'm gonna pat them down for anything else.
All right. Give me
Spare credits. Spare credits.
Good.
You don't
I'm going
fucking
to
need
open-
more money.
I am
Checking
going
out
to
real
open the loot menu and get weird junk.
Yeah.
Give me a notice. I'm
What
sorry.
is a perceive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Way to know. If I'm not handing you credits out in the thousands, it's either because you used up all your money, or I'm insulting you.
I have a 32 over 50.
Okay. Looking them over, patting them down. Both were armed. The guy with the submachine gun had 4 pistols on him.
Not surprising.
That makes sense.
The bouncer, however, in his morph, he had 2 vibro knives.
Ooh,
That's kind of cool.
I'm complicating this.
I'll just report it to Sarah when she gets here.
That's fine.
That way she knows
Oh.
the ways it's not theft, it's confiscation.
Wait, so can anyone just confiscate something in the right circumstances?
Typically those circumstances are the other party tried to kill you and you're confiscating their weapons. So,
So
yes?
that sounds about right. Morgan, did you grab a weapon from
Oh yeah, I got a poly pistol.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, we probably could have confiscated one of these. Looks over and counts again. 5 things from the 4R.
Was that person the Keller morph?
Or morph. But no, it's just a body modification for extra limbs.
Yeah. That was a reference.
No. At least not for me. So Sarah Steele shows up. She shows up with a retinue of, other armed individuals. Are they alive?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have to ask this because, rules and regulations. Do you wish to file charges against these individuals for infringing on your freedom to live?
Looks over at the rest of the group.
I mean, they didn't fire on me.
I mean, they didn't do a very good job of it, to be fair.
Considering they opened fire when they were approached, they obviously had ill intent.
So
I think there's grounds to file something against.
any idea who these fuckers are?
We're checking the records right now.
Well, it
But-
sounds like the party is split with half for and half nay.
I just don't care. Like, it's up
Oh.
to y'all.
Okay,
I
so
They
mean,
did
it's
fire
neutral.
first, so
Yeah,
their fire
I mean,
just when approached by Tabitha, which definitely doesn't sound good.
So it sounds like we're charging.
Yep, I
Well-
think charging is the better way to go, because other people who may have the similar idea may decide cost isn't worth it.
Hopefully.
Doc, get over here. You see Dr. Archimedes walk up. He's, yep. I'll get them up and going. They cuff them. Like they have them slumped over, the arms behind their back. They're on their knees. Doc walks over to injectors, just plugs them right in the neck, and you hear a CO2 can hiss as something is put into them. The one that got shot, oh fuck, what? Oh fuck, oh fuck. Hi,
Hey,
hi. He kind of nervous smiles to all of you. I mean, hi.
I still have blood on my. I still have blood on my claw, so I'm gonna kind of just start doing the cat thing of just like licking my hand, staring at him.
Why? Okay. It's just Sarah looks at you. It's just like, why are you? All right. The other one, as they get injected, they don't wake up. They wake up and start immediately. Oh, the fucking pain. Oh, you fucking animal.
I just smile at that while still doing the whole licking my hand thing.
Oh,
what
you
the
fucking
fuck?
filthy fucking. Oh,
this is the one who got clawed.
yeah. This is the one
Yep.
that clawed.
Oh,
It
okay.
sounded racially charged.
Oh God.
That animal with the hard N.
Jeez.
What the fuck? What is all?
One of the letters in the middle of the word.
I mean, I put a lot of emphasis there.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Oh.
So does anybody want to talk about why we were being followed
Oh,
again?
money. Ah.
Or why you opened fire in the first place?
Bitch came
Money.
around the corner holding 2 guns. What the fuck was I supposed to do?
Not shoot?
all yours. Yeah.
You're stalking somebody and you're going to be surprised when somebody pulls a gun on you? What the fuck are the people being stalked supposed to do?
Hey, go about their business, not notice us.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh, quick
Who's
segue
paying
there,
you?
Sarah.
Quick, what?
Quick segue, Sarah. I confiscated these 2 knives.
Oh, okay. Do you want to turn them in for evidence, or do you want to keep them?
They were never used, but just to make sure that they didn't have anything on them. I'm gonna keep them now.
Okay. I agree with Osborne. What the fuck? Look, we were paid to keep track of some people who recently got on the swarm. We were
Mhm.
sent on over just to keep track. And,
Mhm.
these filthy scum swarms, they, host of degenerates and murderers.
You're not doing yourself a lot of favors here, bud.
You know, we live here, right? Like, that's.
Sounds
Yeah, you're
like you're a
kind
bit of a
of being
Jovian, my
an
man.
asshole.
I mean,
Who paid?
uh, fuck you. You're gonna space me anyway. I'll tell you shit.
We can do worse than space you, bud.
Oh, it sounds like he wants to get clawed again.
You know,
Smile.
like it's really brave for you to insinuate we're just gonna kill you in a world where, well, frankly, there are a lot worse things we could do to you. Like, I don't know, hook you up to a computer that gives you a randomized jolt of pain at varying levels every 5 seconds. And you
Hey,
could just live like that forever.
You fucking autonomous are too lazy to set that up.
They may.
I
We're
don't know
not.
about everybody else, but I'm spiteful. So start talking. Who paid you?
It really is kind of crazy, actually.
It's actually kind of crazy.
Mhm.
Just need to mark this page. Sorry.
Brandon's not marking a page. He's just taking a note. Osborne is actually crazy.
Yeah.
And then isn't it?
Arnold's
Can-
just going to squat down next to him and just kind of put a claw on his face.
Okay, Arnold, we're gonna need to talk about whatever the fuck this is.
What? He said he's not gonna talk, and we also know death's not really gonna mean anything.
Listen, I look like this, and you're making me feel weird.
I love the two reactions of, well, death doesn't mean anything, that I could go fucking hog wild. And it's just like, well, what is dying? Can I get a provoke from either Osborne or Arnold?
What the fuck is that's a skip? Jesus Christ.
Okay.
You get a
Yeah.
plus
Like-
20 to it.
Would you like to
Okay, well,
assist me
have a
then?
chance.
Because I actually have it.
I mean,
Can I get an
I
assist
can't
from
remember how
Osborne
assist
on it?
works.
Yeah, add 10. He had 10 to your
Okay.
total.
Okay, so that's a total of plus 30. Nice.
Yep.
Okay,
Considering you
so
did actually, shoot them and claw at them.
57 out of 65.
Damn, that plus 30 did a lot of work. Uh, look, this is the one that you clawed open.
Mhm.
No, this isn't the one you clawed open. It's the one that had the guns.
Oh, okay.
Look.
That's the one that had the guns.
There, certain groups had collective interests in what you all were a part of, and now you're not a part of it anymore. You all had a lot of money in your account, and people were dipping in and out of that. But primarily they want to know if it worked. If one of the pharma groups. All I know is that they work for pharma.
Oh, but Big Pharma's still interested. Okay. And here we are,
So-
abandoned off in face.
Out of character. Is this pharma group like an actual specific group, like that's its name, or it is some pharma corporation?
I'm trying to get a specific name, but my book is all fucked up right now.
Okay, so he is giving us a name. That's all I care about. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
And who, pray tell, was your contact within this group?
They just called himself Mr. Johnson, and they paid a lot of money. I didn't ask questions. Past
Son
that.
of a bitch! Why is it always Johnson?
That's why.
This Johnson guy gets around.
Does get around.
Was it a Big Johnson or Little Johnson?
I don't know. Um, but it was it was synthetic.
Ew.
What's their whole deal?
They do it's they're Skinethasia's Extropian knockoff, essentially. That's their primary competitor, sure, and they have Extropa being their big backer, but they're kind of second rate, but they pay.
Mm.
And they are interested in us?
Yeah, popsicle. Sarah is very interested in this conversation. Who told them? They had to have someone here to mention that we thawed them out. Well,
I mean, the
yeah.
news?
I mean, news is one thing where, loose lips sink ships, but they had no way of knowing it was specifically you. Unless someone is talking to people they shouldn't be.
Well, that's a fine way to just invoke paranoia, isn't it?
Yeah, I now have to investigate to see if we have a corporate agent on the ship. Great. Great. All right. The rest of you, since you were the targets of the harassment, how do you want to handle this?
My vote is to charge them. Let them be an example.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it sets a bad precedent if they just get off scot-free for this kind of bullshit.
Better yet, because they fixed their sleeves, right? Like they revived them just enough, or did they pull them out of their sleeves?
So to put in game perspective, they in a round took half their rating, half their not death rating, but damage thresholds. Like they took a lot of damage all at once because they weren't wearing
Okay.
Their
armor.
wound threshold.
So they're
They're
wounded.
yeah. They are
Okay.
wounded,
Yeah,
and
they're
they
just
took
hurt.
they took enough of them at once to warrant some checks to see if they'd get knocked unconscious.
Okay. Well, if we really want to send a message, we could mulch their sleeves and charge them. Put them really deep in the hole.
It's a waste of a
Just
good
a thought.
sleeve.
I mean, we could just pull them from the sleeve, right?
True.
See, you are gonna just
Cyber
kill us.
jails?
Kill
I
you.
mean, that's not
No.
technically killing. You're gonna be alive.
I mean, when we're not in a stack, if we're not actively in a morph, it doesn't matter. So, are we really alive?
You really want to get philosophical on us right now?
No, I don't give a shit.
I
Then shut
mean,
the fuck up.
if you want to philosophize about, getting unplugged versus getting unplugged and thrown into the sun, we could, and, could on spite throw you into the sun. Makes no difference to me.
Sarah's sitting here thinking, I think I have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get them taken care of.
Okay.
Tabitha. Yeah. Reach out to your boss. Tell her that we have corporate agents that she may find useful. She can pick their brain.
Ooh.
All
Capture
right.
one.
What was that?
Can I watch her pick the brains?
No. I mean,
Oh,
maybe? You don't want to be there for that. Part of how I got my position was having to sit through one of those. It's not fun.
you had my attention, and now you have my curiosity.
That's a really strange way to vet people.
Well, it's not necessarily vetting, it's to make sure we have the stomach for the job.
Yeah, that's fair.
Primarily, she's the first thing she sees is if we throw up after it. But you can come with me as we drag them there. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you all want to come for that. If not, Sarah, could we borrow 2 of your guys here? Yeah, that's fine. I have to get a hold of the good doctor. Let's see if Cortez is available to do some digging. But you're all, well, all of you but you two are free to go. You two, you have fun.
Okay.
And she'll walk away. You guys now have other guards with you as Tabitha is pushing the 2 of those chuckle fucks at gunpoint.
Well, Arnold going with Tabitha, so.
I think I'm mostly concerned about figuring out who the corporate agent ready on this forum is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Not really sure where to start though.
that is a problem.
Start with
Yeah.
this farmer group. See what information we can dig up.
Sounds good.
Probably nothing scandalous on a quick search, but
Uh,
maybe some
quick-
things that could give us hints.
quick searches for words are failing me. For Synthetic is that they are an extropian business. Let me pull up more information on Extropa. Because realistically, everything you look at just leads you back to Extropa.
Extropa, building better skin. You know, the guy who founded the company is just a really weird dude who uses a lot of lotion.
Oh my god. Actually altered his morph so that his pores actually excrete lotion instead of sweat.
That's awful. I hate everything you've said.
Consistently, shall we say, moist.
Oh god.
I hate it. I hate all of this.
So Extropians, they are the memes about them is market anarchists. They believe in mutualism and tend to hold non-aggression as something important to them.
Right.
But
They believe in what?
non-aggression.
Any before that?
Oh, mutualism.
What's that?
Everyone should get something from some sort. Everything should be a transaction.
Ah, okay.
Someone should get something for something. They very much believe in the idea of entering in contracts being, the way everything should operate is that everyone should give something and get something in return, and it all should be done via contract law.
That sounds really annoying.
You're not entirely wrong. but they saw they primarily operate in the outer belt. Funny enough, but their main habitat Extropa is in the main belt.
Hmm.
So
Interesting.
I think I got some stuff mixed up. So are the Extropians is that the corporation you're looking at, the pharma one, or is that
So their Synthetic is the name of the corporation that is the smaller subcorp that handles, biomorphs and, medical production for Extropia,
okay.
or for the Extropins. So it's one of their sub companies.
See.
One of their many branches. So they have an interest in you all for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, time to look up to see if they've had an interest in old humans and popsicles before. I guess.
I mean, there's flats for that, right?
There are, but what is more interesting to them likely is the fact of cryogenics.
Oh, I mean, we weren't really told a lot about that, at least as far as how it works. So you're not going to get a lot of fuss about that.
I mean, they don't know that unless they try.
Yeah. Wait, so do the agents they sent just think we walk around talking about just cryogenics all the time? Like, what's it?
They sent 2 people to ghost you. Just not ghost you, to shadow you. See what you did, see what you talked about, and we see how that worked out for them.
Yeah.
So that's what you're able to get immediately. If just like quick, your muses look up this information, display it. Synthetic, they do, pharmaceutical and primarily in bio and podmorphs. They're a main
Yeah.
competitor, like it was said, to Skidastasia, and they are connected to the Extropians, which is what is considered an outer system polity, with their main base of operations being in the main belt.
Yeah. I was going to say maybe looking for someone who has a like fancier morph than average other than us if they work for that company, but I imagine they would probably try to do something to blend in like that first person we caught following us. Which might be the same person. We never actually figured that out.
Nope, that was never solved.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, they covered themselves pretty well.
yeah.
Hmm. Well, I guess we can wait for Sarah to get back to us on some details on these guys.
She turned to you all and said, "You're more than welcome to follow me. I need to talk to Cortez. And if that means that I can sit there and watch you to make sure that no one else tries to fucking do anything. Because where there's one rat, there's a colony."
Yeah.
Valid.
She has not put her gun away since hearing about a corporation being involved.
Well, I can't speak for everybody else, but I am down to accompany you.
I suppose it's better than sitting around doing nothing.
All right.
Yeah, agreed.
Arnold is with Tabitha
Yeah,
escorting
you're with
the
Tabitha.
prisoners.
Gonna go watch someone get interrogated.
Yeah. Mako, where do you go?
So, Mako might just be tagging along with someone that is closest right now, because what she was going to try and do, I think, was just start to dig into the history of this company to see, well, have they done something like this before? Rumors, etc.
Okay. Sure. I'll call for. Go ahead and give me a research check. While you give me that check, all of you,
Yep.
you're gonna stick with the team moving with Sarah. So, Sarah and you all start making your way. You have to go to another ship, so you have to get on a shuttle.
Mhm.
But as for Arnold,
Oh no,
Hello.
no, I fail.
okay.
Oh no.
So Arnold, you're with
Hello.
Tabitha. Is just like, well, you wanted to talk to the boss anyway at one point, right?
Yeah. Might as well do it while something's being done.
Sounds good. You arrive at the Steel Dragon. I don't actually fully remember what I named the front. Uh,
Oof.
Steel Dragon sounds right.
I
sounds
think
right.
it was something like that.
Doesn't sound entirely correct.
So like Iron Dragon or something? Was it just a different metal?
It
was
might have been a
something
different
dragon.
metal.
I was gonna say it could be the Rusty Dragon, but that's from Pathfinder.
That sounds like a terrible sex act. Give him a rusty dragon.
Jeez.
It was something dragon, but
Yeah.
What a freak.
it had been Emerald Dragon for all I remember at this point.
You get tetanus.
But she walks in. You're with her, and she has these two fuckers, handcuffed with a gun pointed at their back. And she starts speaking Cantonese.
Huh.
Does your character understand Cantonese?
Nope. He just
Okay.
remembers watching a lot of Cantonese movies, though. So he understands the flow of the conversation. No idea what the fuck they're saying.
She walks in. They all turn. They look at you. They say something. She barks at them. They all stiffen up and nod their head and run off. She'll be with us in a second.
Oh, okay.
You two, sit. The two of them are forced into chairs. And then you recognize the woman as she walks back out. Well, not walks back out, but walks out to you as Shin Shoyang. And she walks out. She has very stern face. Her hair is tied back. It is not, long and flowing like when you first saw her. She sees you and Tabitha. Her face kind of softens a bit, like she tries to put on the front, and then she starts shouting at Tabitha in what you imagine to be Cantonese. They start going back and forth. For Tabitha puts her pistols away, and the energy in that conversation comes down.
Mm-hmm.
And Shin, she, puts her hand on her chest, and she's like, "I'm sorry that you likely didn't understand any of that, and it's impolite to talk around individuals when they don't understand, when they can't understand what you're saying. But my understanding is these two individuals made an attempt on your life."
Well, we confronted them about what they were doing. Then they made an attempt on our lives.
Potato, potato.
Exactly. But yeah, not wrong. I heard
According,
that you have interesting techniques on doing things, so I was curious.
oh yes, I'm here to. I enjoy getting information. I usually get compensated well whenever we have the misfortune of someone who thinks that they're smarter than they actually are.
Hmm.
Now, I don't mean to sour the mood any,
Mhm.
but I want to straighten some things out between us and your little group.
Okay.
Did you knowingly know that you were going to be robbing a triad when you started withdrawing from that account?
Did you know that you guys were actually stealing from our account way before your triad even had access to it, thousands of years later?
It's hundreds of years.
I'm exaggerating.
Okay. No, it was an empty bank account that had a organization that was long dead. So we just started taking money out of it. We were pretty sure we were
I'm no
taking money
longer
from a
dead anymore.
corporation. You weren't an organization. You weren't tied to a
No,
person's bank account. There was no name attached.
that's fair. But no, stealing from you as an organization? No, not at all. As far as I'm concerned, though, you were stealing from me anyways.
Mm,
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm going to say that's water under the bridge.
sure. You can say that.
That we'll work on some of those things, I assume.
Hmm, maybe. See if I like you enough. Your friends, eh. But Tabitha said here you're also interested in seeing this go down. How
Yeah,
familiar are you with Simul Space?
I'm a little bit more acclimated to I was compared to a month ago.
Right. Uh, right. Popsicle. Uh,
hmm hmm
so that means I also imagine psychosurgery is a new field for you too.
That it was way beyond whatever training I got before I turned into an ice cube.
Well, psychosurgery is a little different than, psychology. Whereas we, with words, can probe at what ails a person. Now you can apply a scalpel. But
Ooh.
a scalpel can be used to kill a man too. She stares at the two of them. Give me a kinesics.
Okay, where's my kinetic? There it is. Where is the dice panel? If I roll in the wrong section. Oh, what's kinesics tied to? Kinesics is tied to savvy. I will spend one of my flex points, flip it,
Okay.
and I will be jackpot.
Okay.
45 out of 45.
So I'll let you ask an additional question as trying to gauge her. But with the kinesics, you look at her, and when she looked at them, it's like you threw a steak in front of a dog that hasn't eaten in 2 days. You get the distinct
Ooh.
impression that this woman is a sadist.
This is going to be a fun time.
Yeah. Tabitha, for her part, is just like, I don't want to be here. I'm good. I've seen this shit go down before. I'm done. If you want to watch, well, you'd also get an additional question. Well, based on how she's acting, what do you want to know?
Based on how she's acting, what would be something I would actually want to know? Hmm. You know, that's actually a very valid thing. I feel I would actually learn more by watching what goes on versus trying to glean anything from her demeanor besides the fact of she now gets to have some enjoyment.
Then I'll give you this for free. When you came in, it was just like, yeah, you stole from me, I stole from you. It did not do you any favors. She is.
Oh, 100%. Didn't think they were going to gain any favors out of that.
Yeah.
That was more swinging your weight around.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you walked into her house and swung your dick around. That does not she's that riled her up.
Yeah.
But you think she might take it out on these two. If you want to watch, feel free to hold my hand as she puts two connectors into their data jacks.
Okay.
Because this is gonna be in Simul space, and
Ah.
we're gonna be speeding it up in there, so don't lose track of time.
Understood. Oh, I'll go over and take her hand so I can
Okay.
join in on the jacking.
You are essentially sent a link for you to click into.
Mhm.
And you are now in a medieval dungeon. She does not look like herself in there. She looks like a drider.
Oh.
And she
Festive.
begins. Well, one of the first things she says is like, "So you're all going to tell me who exactly you work for? I want names. I want descriptions. If you have a mesh link, you're going to give that to me, or else." And she pulls out a whip, and before they even have a chance to answer, it's a cat of nine tails across each of them. Like they're in a rack at this point, and she's just going to be doing that for a while. Back to the other group, aka everyone else.
Okay.
So while Arnold watches the torture show, all of you are with Sarah, and you arrive to a meeting location where Cortez is. I keep wanting to say Cortex. He is not the Crash Bandicoot villain. Where Cortez is currently sitting down, already sifting through information. You see him like moving his hands slightly as he messes with different AR displays. Oh, you're not here. Welcome. I apologize for the harrowing experience. I'm currently looking into their logs right now, since when they got on the ship and who they've been in contact with.
Okay.
But is there anything that you'd like to know as of right now? While I'm looking into this, I can multitask. It's fine.
Anything in particular? I mean, I guess a good starting point is where these people even came from. Because they're not from around here. We know that much.
Oh, all right. Well, that I can track easily. So, according to this, they were forecasted in from a city on Mars.
Mars, not particularly close, is it? I don't know where our position is now.
Well, we will be stopping in Luna here soon. That's what all the buzz is about, just in case you all weren't aware. Why everyone might be asking for credits suddenly. People want to potentially get off.
Shore leave shopping trip.
Essentially. Some people like to restock. Other people We usually get new arrivals. It's harder to vet them, but if they come in with someone saying that they are allowed on board and that they check out, well, that's their rep on the line, not mine.
Do you think we should worry about any more corporate agents like these when that happens?
I mean, that depends on how paranoid you are. I myself am nervous of anyone that even mentions the word corporation in my presence. I don't deal with them for a reason. I don't ever get off this ship, realistically. I have no reason to.
Fair, I guess.
But I mean, you're armed. That's usually enough for some folk.
Wasn't enough for these last two, but they were armed also. So.
It looks like it.
The main concern, like we were talking about before, is that the word of us existing got out rather quickly somehow. And I know Sarah suspected a corporate agent already being on the swarm because of that. I don't really know where to start to track someone like that, though, especially with. I mean, potential physical descriptions are basically useless.
It is a problem. That's what makes, tracking anyone down this day and age difficult.
Yeah.
You can still usually track a physical morph for a good distance. Not everyone has the ability to farcast themselves out or have a dead man switch attached.
Yeah, that was a
Like the last
weird.
one. I suppose there's a good chance that was the one we would be looking for, which would mean I suppose they're gone now, but still might be more than one.
Well, it most certainly means there's more than one, because that one. It's hard to tell. We do have, accidents that happen from time to time, and some people have to get brought up from backup.
Yeah.
So they could have hidden themselves in the records for being given a new morph, for, being quote unquote dead for too long. But that one's harder to figure out realistically because it's been so long. We have to dig through those records.
Yeah.
And the part that I'm having issues with is that this is the second time that I've been given records from our resleeving facility that just don't have an entry of who modified them.
Is that difficult to do with the software there?
No, it's not difficult to do, but, you'd only have a reason to cover up your tracks if you were hiding something.
Yeah. So resleeving is where we probably want to. Or wait, the one we found last time was the second one, or that was the first one, and the second one has been one of the more recent incidents.
This more recent incident. I'm looking through our records right now, and I'm not seeing anything. That's the issue I'm having. Is I see that these two were sleeved, but I didn't see who granted them access.
Ah, okay. So they're working with someone.
Yeah, it's the records should show this. Has anyone spoken with Dr. Archimedes and who has access to his information? Sarah pipes in and is just like, I've talked to him about it, and he doesn't recall anyone going in or out. The system is on the mesh, so no one has to walk in to mess with it. They just have to be within a decent proximity for a good signal.
Okay, so something like just someone being on a security camera in there at the right time doesn't really work either.
Right. But the individual is good at covering their tracks. That's the problem I'm
Yeah.
having, is I could usually find something of their presence, but I'm not seeing anything. It's astounding.
So
There
it's
might
not even that it shows someone undetermined gave them permission. It's just they got permission and
From some
no one gave it to them.
place. Yeah.
correct. Which means either they were hacking it from Mars, which, if they could do that, I doubt that they'd be, running around stalking people for pay. Or there is an individual on this ship who is messing with records.
All right, so
Let
the
me
latter sounds
see.
more likely, of course.
Indeed. Let me see. Let's. All right. Well, this is something.
Okay.
Whoever this individual is has a high level of access in order to bypass most security measures. Now, whether or not they granted themselves this access, I'm not seeing records of them forcing their way in.
Yeah. Is there a list of who has that kind of access?
I mean, yes, but it's a couple thousand people.
Oh, okay.
The trickier part now is knowing when they start moving around the ship. I may not be able to
Yeah.
see when they sleeve, but I can check our security cameras to find out when they left re-sleeving.
Yeah.
Is
So we can see
the
if they went to communicate with anyone in
correct.
person.
Uh, that is a bit more difficult. But cameras were rolling. Okay. So I've limited it down to 60 individuals on that ship at the time.
All right, that's a lot fewer than before.
It is.
So did you say
Sarah,
16 or 60?
60.
Okay.
Sarah, here's your list of individuals that you will need to question. Right. I'm a little low on manpower. This is gonna take some time. We're gonna be in Luna before that happens.
Yeah, 60 does still seem like a lot.
Well, the issue is that I have to get a hold of them, get an alibi, and then verify that alibi.
Yeah.
And we have to. The big thing is that they have to prove that they were preoccupied enough to not be able to simultaneously be hacking that part of the system. So, just walking or eating isn't enough. They have to have been involved in working on something else.
Yeah. Is there enough surveillance over there to see where the two we encountered went after they finished sleeping?
There is some surveillance. They came out like they went in. Well, they came out like how you met them.
Yeah.
We do keep supplies there, so it's a high probability that they just grabbed whatever fit and then started walking.
Oh, I mean, did they come straight to us after leaving, or did they meet with anybody beforehand?
It's gonna take some time. This happened over a week ago, so it doesn't look like they were stalking you for that long. It looks like they may have.
Well, that's what I was asking. If there is enough surveillance to just have seen where they went immediately after leaving.
Yeah, and I'm looking through that. I'll have to jump to one of the other ships because they got on a shuttle at some point. I had to sift through a week of surveillance footage, so it's going to take some time on that.
Yeah. I mean, I can add some extra eyes if you want.
Sarah will chime in. It's just like, I'd actually prefer if I got your assistance verifying these people.
Oh, me or?
Well, all of you.
Oh, okay.
I
Realistically,
mean, I'll do what I can.
you'll be compensated in rep.
All right.
But I imagine you'd also like to know who is trying to stalk you. So
Yeah.
but 60 people is too many for me to do on my own, and I don't have the manpower to dedicate to that because
Yeah, that is a lot.
well, and additionally, it's a at your discretion kind of work. So, if someone feels like they want to go be a part of an orgy on a different ship, I can't tell them to get back to work. That's not how that works.
Oh, working security, you mean?
Work, yeah. Most things people do because they want to. It's really
Yeah.
easy to convince people to keep life support and the engines running. It's a lot harder to tell them to act as a security force.
Yeah.
And to help maintain a modicum of order. On
And
the
without
anarchist
getting people
dump
that
floor.
just want to abuse that power
Everyone
as a
likes
security
order.
guard.
They just don't want to do nothing about it.
You're right. Getting someone who doesn't want to abuse that power is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think you've got. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but seems like you've got us for it.
Yeah, my hope is that you have enough vested interest to appropriately sway you working on it.
Yeah.
But she walks over and to each one of you, taps you once on one shoulder, taps you on another. I deputize you. I deputize you. You've been deputized.
Oh boy, time to abuse my newfound power.
Please don't. I will not hesitate to throw you out an airlock.
Yeah, I'm just joshing.
Well, normally, would let that slide. I have a corporate rat, and I need to find them, and I need to kill them.
Yeah. At the very least, we are in the same boat as you.
Yeah.
Well,
I suppose we should get started since I assume docking with Luna and having a lot of people come on and off the swarm will radically complicate this.
yes. We dock in Luna in 4 days. So that's how long we have to vet these people. And
Okay,
confirm and deny alibis.
Not too bad with this many bodies, I suppose.
That's the hope.
Well, there's 2, 3, 4, 5 of us, 4 days, 60 people. It's about 12 people, 3 people a day, each of us.
Yeah.
Yep. And with that timer, because the main issue is that once we land, they can just, get off and stay off, and then they're out of our jurisdiction, for lack of
Out
a
of our
better term.
reach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of catching them after that.
How do you kill someone anyway if they're able to just emergency forecast out if they're morph?
Well, most folks don't have that installed, and most folks only have that installed when they're going into space. Because the way that works is it rocket propels your stack to a general, well, not a general location, a fairly specific location, usually an ego bank. or
it's
a
that
body
one.
knife. Yeah. The kill switch is where that gets more difficult.
Yeah, where they just have a backup then.
Yeah.
Just- yeah.
But, you know, for them, they have a lot of information if they've been on the ship for a while, and like Cortez says, if they have administrative rights of any kind.
Yeah. And they may not want to just lose that.
Yeah, that's a lot to lose. Personally, I'd like it if they did that, because that means the corp gets nothing. But that may not
because they'd
be
be loading a backup from before they got that information.
exactly. So they're carrying around a lot of information that I don't want getting out, and we need to make sure that we put the kibosh on that.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess if each of us just wants to take a chunk of the list.
Yeah, sure. I may not
Hmm.
be as skilled at this sort of thing as you guys, but I'll do them when I can.
So who probably good to figure out who of us that are good at searching and work from that perspective, I guess.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, like I've got the tenacity. I've documented wildlife, and that takes time and patience. But like, it's not the same as searching the internet, hunting a person down.
We got names. We just need to first things first. See what they were doing around the time that this incident happened, and then verify that information. So, if they say they were alone, put them at the top of the list. If they say they were with someone, ask that other person. Ask if there was anyone else there, and then ask those people. If they
Okay,
do
so
say they were alone, find out what they were doing.
so normal alibi stuff.
Yep, that's where we got to start.
I really hope no one ever does something really bad in the same general area that I exist while I'm just sitting around, like taking a nap or something.
Well, most folks can usually have their mesh ID tracked, but you hear Cortez, fuck, bitch. Sorry, go about your business. Cortez, like he said, they deleted their tracks. So someone who's competent in mesh operations.
Yeah.
I suppose something to worry about. Just thinking off the top of my head is at least for some of us, there may be the problem that they can lie convincingly.
And then that's where we check the information that they give.
Yeah, it just means that even if it ends up creating more workload, it might be better to operate in, I don't know, pairs. So I can't like easily check if some sort of record has been doctored or what have you. I just don't have those kinds of skills.
Yeah, that's probably worth it.
Um,
And then we're not
and
just walking
there's a
around alone
risk with
stalked
sorry, go on.
again.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm just saying that like there's the risk of that with everybody that we interview, given that they are technologically from this time and invested in hiding their tracks, since what they're doing is probably seems to be very illegal.
Illegal to us.
Frowned
Well, I
upon.
mean, to us is all that matters because they're currently on our turf. So they have a vested interest in making sure that, for all intents and purposes, what they look like they're doing is legal, regardless of what they're actually doing. They went as far as to straight kill a personality. So
Yeah, that is
I
would
would not
denote
put it.
a little extreme.
Yeah, I would not put it past them to then forge some document or pay off people to lie or doctor footage, like video footage, that says
Yeah.
that what they say is absolutely true, even though it isn't.
I mean, that's what we're gonna run into no matter what. No
Yeah, no,
matter
that's
how
just why
yeah.
I say it might be good to operate in, say, pairs if there's enough of us that are good at the technological side and others that are good at talking.
I mean,
what have you.
that's perfectly fine as long as we get someone. As long as I get a name
Mm.
by day 4 while we're docking, we're golden. The moment we
Yeah,
dock and I don't have a name or in a person, that's when I have a problem.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
just figured now is the time to bring up some of these issues so that we can plan around them.
I think we have a lot of reasons to use the buddy system for those.
Yeah, yeah. Also, you know, they're getting stalked and whatnot, they might want to ambush us, and not being alone is a good thing for that.
Back
Mm.
to the. Oh, sorry.
Just thinking. So go on.
Yeah.
It's a regularly scheduled programming.
Yeah, regularly scheduled program. Back to the other side of the ship. Well, to actually a different ship entirely. Arnold, this
Hello.
is rough to watch.
Is it?
It's give me a SAN. So your will times 3.
Oh, my will times 3. Okay.
Yeah, because you're watching things that actively violate rules of like not even like laws, but it's straight like torture. And it's not like she's waterboarding them or anything like that. She's in a simulated space. At one point she dissected one of them alive, put them back together and rearranged like their limbs. The entire time she cackled. And they felt every second of it.
Okay.
But Arnold apparently is deeply intrigued by it, if a little grossed out. Take one. You're taking one. Watching someone have their body rearranged as they can feel it, not fun. It's not like
Made
Mr.
my body
Potato Head.
tingle a little bit. Where do I keep track of that?
So
Is it under stress?
it's stress.
Okay. Thank you.
And she does this from what you can tell based on the simulated space. This is going on for weeks.
Hmm.
Like you see the sun rise and fall in this little dungeon probably 30 times, so almost a month. And they're incoherent at this point. And then the simul space freezes. You can still move around, but like in the middle of one of them screaming, it all stops. And she walks over to you in her little, well, not little, in her drider form. And now their minds are open and manipulable.
Oh. I
Mind you,
see.
you don't need to do this entire hullabaloo to get information. But it certainly makes it easier when you start digging around in their head.
I don't doubt.
But I don't believe I'm going to get very much useful information from them. However, I do have some work that needs to get done. So I'm going to be making just some wonderful little puns here. If you wish to watch me work a little more.
I'm kind of intrigued because some of this stuff is, as far as I could think of, just works of fiction in my time.
Oh, I assure you, this is very real. Um, she walks over to one of them and grabs the top of his head and starts unscrewing the top cap. And it's just at this point, there's no like guts or anything in there. It's just blue light, and you see her start manipulating it and bending pieces of information. You see images, memories, you think, and she'll grab some of them and she just like crushes them and throws it to the side as she is actively rewriting them.
Arnold will say this out loud. Wow, this is like Dumbledore messing around with the memories in his head.
I don't understand that reference. But I'm going to make good little soldiers. Good little soldiers who are going to be a distraction for an operation. You just need to know, honey, you can leave whenever you like. This is the tedious part of the job, but just remember, you don't want to end up on one of these tables. Understood?
Understood.
Good. She snaps her fingers, and you are kicked out of the symbol space. Tabitha is still sitting there watching what's going on, and is just like, oh, that was quick. We were only in there for like a minute.
For that 1 minute, I'm actually kind of hungry.
Well, we serve food here, so
Yeah, you want anything?
I'll get you something. I'll get you something. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm waiting for her to say that I'm good to go before we go, so I'll get the chef to make you something.
Okay. Sounds like she's going to be in there for a little bit. Something about rewiring a few things here and there.
Oh, great. Yay. More things I get to take care of later.
Sounds about right. You said you had to go through that when you first got in here?
Yeah, except that I was in there. Let me guess. It was a minute and a half, 30 days, right?
Roughly speaking, yeah.
3 hours this time. Same speed in there. You do that math. I'm gonna go get food.
Oh. Well, I'll be damned.
But I think with that, with the future teed up, we'll call session here. Questions, comments, suggestions. Was everyone having fun?
Yeah, having fun.
Yeah.
Sorry if I had some
Imagine
trouble focusing.
talking mad shit when you can be hooked up into a virtual space and be tortured for untold lengths of time.
Yeah, dude.
Everyone's a tough guy.
And that's not the worst things that you can do to someone in this setting.
Hyperion Canto's up in here.
Everyone's gangsta until someone brings up the psychosurgery.
Yeah.
There are laws
Yeah,
out
he was
here,
going to the
bud.
end there.
We don't answer to Geneva. You need to make your choices wisely out here.
Do they even know what Geneva is?
Probably not.
Probably. It's too difficult time.
Geneva Convention? Sounds like Geneva suggestions.
Ain't no convention
Geneva
I want to
Convention.
attend.
Man, I haven't
Sounds
been
like a
to a
snooze
convention.
fest.
But I want to thank everybody for listening, and we hope to have you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.